Have you ever had that feeling of wanting to learn something new but thought, maybe it's too late for me? Maybe you've thought that your brain isn't as sharp as it once was, or perhaps the idea of learning a new skill seems like too much effort at this stage in life. But what if I told you that it's never too late to learn? That no matter your age, your brain still has incredible potential to grow, adapt, and learn new things? And yes, even after 70, you can develop new skills and abilities. In fact, learning new things can actually help keep your mind sharp, improve your mental health, and give you a sense of accomplishment. But I get it, sometimes the idea of picking up a new hobby, skill, or even learning a new language or instrument might feel daunting. The good news is that there are simple tricks and techniques that can make the process a lot easier. Today, I'm going to share 6 brain tricks that can help you learn new skills after 70, and I'll show you how you can apply them right away. So, let's jump into the first one. The first trick is something that's often overlooked but incredibly powerful. Embracing the power of curiosity. Think back to when you were younger. Do you remember how everything seemed new and exciting? Whether it was a new book, a new place, or a new person, curiosity drove you to explore and learn. But as we get older, that spark of curiosity can sometimes fade. We fall into routines, and the world feels less like a place of discovery and more like a place of comfort. But here's the thing. Curiosity doesn't have an expiration date. In fact, it's one of the most powerful tools you can use to continue learning. When you approach learning with curiosity, it's less about the pressure to get things perfect or mastering something immediately. It's about enjoying the process of discovering something new. Let's say you've always been interested in photography. If you approach it with curiosity instead of stressing over whether you're taking good photos, you might start focusing on the different settings on your camera, the way light changes throughout the day, or the various types of photography. Maybe you're drawn to landscape, portraits, or abstract shots. Curiosity takes the pressure off and makes learning enjoyable, which is so important when we're trying to pick up something new at any age. You don't have to start out with a grand plan to master a new skill right away. Instead, allow yourself to simply explore the topic. Ask questions, look for new things that interest you, and see where that leads. Often, the joy is in the journey of learning, not just in the end result. And trust me, you'll be amazed at how much you can absorb just by staying curious and open-minded. Now, let's move on to the second brain trick, which ties into curiosity: breaking things down into smaller pieces. When you're trying to learn something new, especially something that feels complicated or overwhelming, it's easy to feel discouraged. It's natural to look at the big picture and think, I'll never be able to do that. But here's the secret. Instead of focusing on the whole task, break it down into smaller, manageable chunks. Take learning to play an instrument, for example. Instead of trying to learn an entire song in one go, focus on mastering just a few notes or a short section of the music at a time. The key is to set small, achievable goals. These mini goals will give you a sense of accomplishment along the way, which builds confidence and motivates you to keep going. This trick works for just about any new skill you want to learn. Let's say you want to start painting. Instead of thinking, I need to learn how to paint an entire masterpiece, break it down. Start by learning how to mix colors or how to hold a brush. Then move on to practicing basic strokes. As you slowly build up these small skills, the bigger picture starts to come together naturally. Breaking things down reduces the feeling of being overwhelmed and helps your brain focus on manageable tasks. It also gives you a greater sense of progress, which is key to staying motivated. Breaking things down also allows you to practice consistently without feeling burned out. And that consistency is important because the more you practice, the stronger your brain becomes at retaining new information and forming new neural pathways. Now that we've covered the power of curiosity and the importance of breaking things down into smaller steps, let's dive into the third trick: using repetition and variation. You might have heard that practice makes perfect, but there's actually more to it than just repeating the same thing over and over again. The trick is to introduce some variety into your practice routine, which helps your brain stay engaged. Here's an example. Let's say you're learning a new language. You can practice new words every day, but if you keep repeating the same set of words without any change, your brain can become bored and stop paying attention. But if you mix it up, maybe one day you practice speaking, another day you focus on reading, and the next day you practice writing, you'll keep your brain actively engaged and the information will stick better. When you add variation to your practice, your brain is forced to adapt in new ways. This boosts your memory and retention. It's not just about doing the same thing every day, but about challenging your brain with slightly different tasks and approaches to the skill you're learning. By using curiosity, breaking things down, and adding repetition with variety, you're already setting yourself up for success in learning new skills. These 3 tricks alone can make a world of difference in how quickly and effectively you can pick up something new. But there's still more to cover, so let's keep going. I'm excited to share the rest of these brain tricks with you. Now that we've explored the power of curiosity, breaking things down into smaller steps, and the importance of repetition with variation, let's move on to the next brain trick that can help you learn new skills after 70. This one is a bit of a secret weapon when it comes to strengthening your mind, teaching what you've learned. It might sound strange, right? After all, you're still learning yourself. But trust me, teaching others what you've learned is a powerful way to reinforce your own understanding. When you teach, you're not just repeating the information, you're actively engaging with it, breaking it down in a way that makes sense to someone else, and often you'll discover new insights along the way. Think about it like this. Let's say you've learned the basics of gardening. You've figured out how to plant flowers or grow vegetables, and now you want to share that knowledge with a friend or family member. As you explain the steps to them, you might find yourself thinking about things you hadn't considered before. Maybe you remember a small trick that makes planting easier, or you realize there's a faster method you can teach them. Teaching forces your brain to look at the skill from different angles and solidifies your own understanding. But even if you're not teaching a class, simply explaining your new skill to someone else, whether it's a grandchild, a neighbor, or even just talking it out to yourself, can help you retain the information better. The brain loves to process things actively, and teaching is one of the best ways to do that. Plus, it feels great to share something new that you've learned with others. It builds confidence and gives you a sense of accomplishment that motivates you to keep learning. Now, let's move on to the next trick, which is all about staying engaged and connected. Social learning. Learning doesn't have to be a solitary activity. In fact, when you learn in a group or with others, it can be much more fun and effective. Engaging with people who share your interests and passions can help you stay motivated, make learning feel less like a chore, and expose you to new ideas and methods. For example, if you've decided to learn how to play the piano, joining a local group of beginner pianists can be incredibly helpful. Not only will you have a chance to share what you're learning and pick up tips from others, but the camaraderie can also keep you motivated. You might find that you get excited to show up for each lesson, knowing that others are counting on you to be there too. Social learning also gives you a chance to practice with others, get feedback, and exchange knowledge. Another great way to practice social learning is by taking classes. Whether it's a local art class, a cooking class, or a course on history or philosophy, being in an environment where you're learning alongside others keeps your brain active and engaged. It's also a great way to make new connections and meet like-minded people who share your interests. You'll be amazed at how much more you absorb when you're interacting with others who are passionate about the same things. But social learning isn't just about formal classes or groups. It can also happen in informal settings like a book club or a weekly coffee chat where you discuss your hobbies and interests. The key is to stay connected with others who are also learning. This keeps your mind sharp and engaged in ways that studying on your own just can't match. Now that we've talked about teaching what you've learned and the power of social learning, let's dive into the next trick that's really going to help you stay sharp as you learn new skills. Setting aside time for reflection. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of learning something new, but taking the time to reflect on what you've learned is just as important as the learning itself. Think about how you feel when you look back on a project you've completed. Maybe you finished painting a picture or learned how to bake a new cake recipe. How does it feel when you reflect on the effort you put in and the progress you made? Taking a moment to appreciate your journey helps to reinforce everything you've learned. Reflection also allows you to make adjustments to your learning process. For instance, if you've been struggling with a particular aspect of a skill, reflecting on it can help you pinpoint exactly where you're going wrong and figure out how to improve. It's about slowing down and giving your brain a chance to process everything you've absorbed. A great way to reflect is to keep a journal of your progress. Write down your thoughts, what's been working for you, and areas where you might need more practice. This doesn't have to be anything fancy, just a simple note each day about what you learned or how you felt during your practice session. Over time, You'll start to see how much progress you've made, and this will boost your confidence and keep you motivated to continue learning. Taking time to reflect also helps you recognize your successes, big and small. Whether it's finally mastering a new technique or learning something you never thought you'd be able to do, celebrating those little victories is crucial to staying motivated. As we come to the end of this part, I want to remind you that learning is a lifelong process. The tricks I've shared, teaching what you've learned, engaging in social learning, and setting aside time for reflection, are all ways to keep your brain active and excited about learning. It's not about being perfect or trying to rush the process. It's about enjoying the journey and allowing yourself to grow at your own pace. In the next part, we'll wrap up with the final brain trick, and I'll leave you with a motivational message to keep you going. So stay with me, there's just a little more to go, and I promise it will be worth it. As we approach the final part of our journey, let's talk about the last trick that can significantly boost your ability to learn new skills. Embracing mistakes and learning from them. I know, it's not always easy to accept mistakes, especially as we get older. But here's the truth. Mistakes are not only inevitable, they're essential to the learning process. When we're young, we tend to be more fearless about making mistakes. Kids don't hold back. They're willing to try new things even if it means they'll fail a few times along the way. As we get older, however, there's often a shift. We might start to fear making mistakes, thinking that they're a sign of failure. But the reality is, mistakes are stepping stones to mastery. Every time you make a mistake, you learn something new about the skill you're trying to develop, and you adjust your approach accordingly. Take, for instance, someone learning to paint. The first few brush strokes may not look perfect, but with each stroke, they gain a better understanding of the technique. Over time, they learn how to control the brush, mix colors, and add layers. Those early mistakes become valuable lessons in disguise. The same principle applies to any skill, whether it's playing a musical instrument, learning a new language, or even mastering a new technology. Mistakes are a natural part of the process, and they're a powerful tool for growth. One of the best ways to embrace mistakes is to shift your mindset. Instead of seeing a mistake as something negative, view it as an opportunity to learn. Every time you get something wrong, you're getting one step closer to getting it right. And here's a trick that helps with this mindset shift. Reframe the way you talk to yourself. Instead of saying, "I messed that up," try saying, "I'm learning and this is part of the process." This simple shift in language can make a world of difference in how you feel about the mistake and how willing you are to keep going. Another great way to embrace mistakes is to practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself when things don't go perfectly. If you find yourself feeling frustrated or discouraged, take a step back and remind yourself that learning is a process, and everyone goes through ups and downs. It's okay not to get everything right immediately. The key is to keep going, learn from your mistakes, and be proud of the progress you're making. Now, let's wrap things up with a message of motivation. The fact that you're watching this video means you're already taking an active step in improving your life and keeping your brain sharp. Learning new skills after 70 is not just possible, it's incredibly rewarding. You don't have to rush or pressure yourself. Instead, take it one step at a time, using the brain tricks we've discussed. Stay curious, break things down, teach what you learn, engage socially, reflect on your progress, and embrace mistakes. Remember, you've got the rest of your life to learn and grow, and you're never too old to pick up something new. Whether it's learning to play the piano, mastering a new recipe, or even starting a new hobby, you have the ability to keep your brain active and engaged for years to come. It's important to celebrate each little victory, no matter how small. Every time you master a new technique or grasp a new concept, give yourself a pat on the back. These moments of success add up over time, and they'll not only boost your confidence but also keep you motivated to keep learning. So, as you continue this journey of learning new skills, remember that it's all about the process, not the end result. Be patient with yourself, stay curious, and never stop exploring. You have so much to offer, and your brain is more than capable of learning and growing no matter your age. If you've enjoyed this video and found these tips helpful, I'd love to hear about your experiences. Maybe there's a skill you've always wanted to learn, or perhaps you've already started learning something new. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep this conversation going. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more tips and encouragement. Here's to continuing the journey of learning and living your best life at any age.